All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Deep Pockets here. We are live, ready for the MLB playoffs of 2025. Big season ahead. I don't know what to say, Kenny, but we have playoff baseball starting here on Tuesday. I love playoff baseball. October baseball is nothing more than the best. How are you feeling about playoff baseball starting this season?
It's just that great time of the year. October, fall baseball, the playoffs, every game means just more, and just, watching games during the day, afternoon at work, then also at night when you get home, there's nothing better. But also, what an intro to start with Mike Jones. I don't know if anyone saw that or caught that, but Mike Jones intro music.
281-330-800 hit Mike Jones up on the low because the playoffs are about to blow. How about that?
There you go. You got another career.
So a quick intro to the playoffs. We see the playoff odds at the bottom. We're going to go through every matchup. So we're going to talk about each wild card matchup. Now, if anybody needs a reminder, because the playoffs, I feel like there's something different every year. This is not a one-game wild card. This is a 3-game playoff, which means the team who plays at home, we're going to get all 3 games at home. So every matchup that you see here, the second team is the home team. They're going to have all 3 games at home. And then the winner of those series will advance to the NLDS. So the top 2 seeds from the ALDS, or the AL, and the National League, they will both get first-round byes and then play the winners of that first round. Kenny, really quick, what do you think of these first-round wildcard games? Do you like the 3-game series? Do you like the 1-game elimination? What do you think of this first round really quick?
Don't get me started on the amount of games that the season is, and then they try to squeeze in these first important round matchups into a 3-game best-of-3 series. I hate it. I think MLB should adjust the schedule and end things in the middle of September, and start the playoffs right then, cut at least 20 games off the schedule and to start the playoffs and make it longer as a first round instead of a shorter first round. So make it a longer first round instead of a shorter first round, because these games, especially Major League Baseball, every playoff, it's a 7-game series. NHL is 1 versus 8, 7-round, 7-game series starting from the first round. So it's just interesting to see, I feel like every year MLB just tries to confuse you even more. Like last year, there was a play-in wild card, Mets-Braves. This year was a tiebreaker game. The Mets didn't get in. They had the same record as Cincinnati, and Cincinnati makes it in the playoffs. So I just feel like MLB just tries to confuse. And I'm a huge MLB fan. They just try to confuse you every year about the playoffs. They're trying to get it right, which I respect. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I would like to see them go away. 3-game series, anything can happen in a 3-game series. I do like that they don't do the 1-game wild card. That was, I think, stupid to me too. But a 3-game series, I think if you're going to play 162 in a season, 3 games to dictate a first round wild card series. And what I hate, Kenny, really bad about this wild card round is the division champion. So, for example, the Dodgers and the Yankees both won their division, but they have to play in this round. And remember, we're big Cardinals fans. This happened to us back in 2022. We won the division, but we still had to play in the wild card round. I think that's a really, really stupid thing for some of these teams who they won their division. Why should they have to play in the first round? It's called the wild card round for that reason. So I just think it's kind of silly. There should be something different about this. Like you said, they play 162, maybe shorten it just a little bit, add more games to the playoffs, if anything. So
yeah, total ripoff. If you're playing in the playoffs, especially if you win the division and you're having to play that first round as a 3 seed, total ripoff. I want my money back.
And then best thing about October baseball, before we get into the matchups, for me, best thing about October baseball is just the crowd and the environment. There's nothing more to it. Every pitch matters. A team is never out of the game until literally the final out. We've seen so many crazy comebacks happen in these games, but just when the crowd gets up, it's the 5th inning, it's bases loaded, Aaron Judge comes to bat. The Yankees are trying to take advantage of that crucial time in the game, and the crowd's up and ready to go for it. Wrigley Field's going to be bumping. Every place, every ballpark is, you just feel that electricity, the environment. I love that about October baseball. Every pitch matters, and you don't want to take your eyes away from the TV. So that's my favorite thing about October baseball. Can't wait for it to start on Tuesday at 12 Eastern, I believe it is.
Yep, can't wait. Baseball, playoff baseball's here. Don't be a bandwagon fan. I hate the people that buy these tickets and they outprice them, so the casual fan like you and I can't afford to even go. If you haven't seen a game all year, don't go to the playoffs. I hate all these people that show on TV that are just sitting there at the games that you can tell have never been to a game all year. Where the casual, these casual fans that show up there, the playoffs are starting. be the fan that's watching from April and even sometimes in spring training. But it's coming to an end. It's kind of sad, but we're here.
We are here, and we are going to break down some of these games. We're going to start in Cleveland. First off, just incredible what Cleveland did. I mean, I think they won, 19 of the last 23. They were 15 and a half games out of first place.
Mm-hmm.
On August 25th, or maybe it was even before then, but they had no chance to be in first place. And that's what I'm talking about. Baseball is crazy. Anything can happen. Cleveland storms back, wins all these games, and now they sit in first place. They're going to host the Detroit Tigers in round 1 of the wild card series. So epic and big time choke job by Detroit. I mean, they had that lead. They can't get rid of that lead. And a lot of it had to do with them losing all those games, but also the Guardians. Give the Guardians credit. And I think a lot of the credit goes to their pitching, because that pitching staff has been phenomenal over the last month or two. So this is what we're going to kick it off with, Kenny. We're going to kick it off with the Cleveland Guardians hosting the Detroit Tigers. I mean, who's going to throw for the Detroit Tigers? Obviously, it's going to be Tariq Skubal. On the other side, I'm thinking, and what it's sounding like from all the reports that I've been hearing, it's going to be Gavin Williams. Gavin Williams has had a really high strikeout percentage over the last 2 months. He's been their glue guy. He was a first-round pick back in 2021, I believe. So he's kind of coming around. I don't know how you can go against this Guardians team right now. Typically, when you see a team like this, as hot as they are going into the postseason, it's hard to go against them. And I know Skubal is incredible. Skubal is one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball. But you're getting some plus money in front of Cleveland right now for how well they're playing, for how electric it's going to be in Cleveland for this first round. I can't look away for how bad the Tigers play down the stretch. I'm on the Guardians. I love the way their pitching's been. But all specifically, I love that bullpen. The bullpen's been great. Cade Smith can lock down games. Forget Emmanuel Clase and his betting. He's gone. They don't need Emmanuel Clase. Cade Smith is the real deal. High strikeout percentage. I love Cleveland. I think they get the job done in the first round and then move on to the second round. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's fascinating how Cleveland's kind of turned the season around from that, I don't know how many weeks ago, and now they are the division champion in the AL Central. So it's crazy to see that they completely lost their bullpen, and they're still right here as one of the top teams in the AL. And last year, I actually really liked them to advance and beat the Yankees. They couldn't get past the Yankees. But this year, some of this seems a little bit different with their starting pitching. I think that's what's really propelling them to be in the position that they're in right now against Detroit, where I do like Cleveland as well. I'm with you, Alexi. I'm with you, Deep Pockets. So I do like Cleveland in that first round, especially hosting at home. I think that they're going to outmatch the Tigers, and their pitching is going to be a little better when it comes to that 3-game series. So I think that they have the edge, even though Tariq Skubal is the AL Cy Young, hands down. I think the Guardians find a way to get it done. I think Christmas is back, Big Christmas. So
Big Christmas.
Watch out for Big Christmas.
And here's a big thing about the Guardians here. So I talked about their bullpen, but their offense has been really good in clutch situations. Like, look at today. They were down in the bottom of the ninth. Or extra innings, excuse me. It really didn't matter. So the Guardians had already clinched the division because the Tigers lost, but they were down in like the bottom of the 10th by 2, and they hit a walk-off home run to win the game. But all around the last 2-3 weeks, even the last month, this team has been really good in clutch situations. And you don't really know a lot of these names. If you're like a casual baseball guy, you don't know a lot of these names in this lineup. I mean, I know a lot of them because I follow baseball quite a bit, but if you're someone who just kind of tunes in here and out, this is a very low-key Cleveland Guardians team led by Jose Ramirez, but they're playing right now really good right now. I can't go against that. Currently in game 1, here's what's interesting, Kenny. Game 1, you're getting a pretty steep price for Skubal. I know it's Skubal. I know he's good, but for how bad they're playing, I think it's a little too steep. Minus 150. I thought it'd been maybe minus 130. So I would happily take the plus 123 in game 1. And then if you look at these two wild card teams priced series, so the 3-game series, it's minus 110. So it's basically a coin flip on who they think's going to win the series. But all the things I said, I like the way the momentum's going with the Guardians and the way their pitching's been. Outside of Skubal, you got Flaherty behind them. I don't trust Flaherty in a game 2, game 3 situation.
Absolutely not. I'm all the way with Cleveland and looking forward to see how they do in the postseason this year.
All right, we will move into the second game of the day on Tuesday. This will be the second game. I believe it's at 2 Central. Wrigley Field gets playoff baseball back, so you know it's going to be electric there. Their fans love playoff baseball. They love their Cubs. Cubs are priced as the favorite right now in game 1. I believe Nick Pivetta is getting the ball for the Padres, and I would imagine it's going to be Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs. This is a tough series, man. I'm still looking at it, trying to figure out which way I want to go. I'm kind of leaning toward the Padres just because of the way baseball has transformed in 2025. These pitchers go 3, 4, 5 innings max at times. Like if you're starting to do bad, they switch to the bullpens. And I think the Padres have a huge edge here at the bullpen. They traded for Mason Miller at the deadline. They have Suarez, their closer, Marhone, the other reliever who's really good for the Padres. This is a really, really good and deep Padres bullpen, and their offense has been really good too. So I think, honestly, these two teams are pretty matched, but they match up pretty well. But I think the edge goes to the bullpen here, and when playoff baseball starts, bullpens are strong. So I like the Padres. I think game one could be tough to win, but I do think they end up winning the series in the 3 games. So Padres would be my pick in this one. I'll talk more about the Cubs after you give some of your thoughts on this matchup.
After talking to you earlier, I think I changed my mind to actually hop on the bandwagon with you with the San Diego Padres. So I'm going with the Padres. I think they did a lot to bolster their bullpen, and that's what you want in a postseason is guys that can come in not only in the 8th and 9th, but in the 5th, 6th, 7th when you have some high-pressure situations. And I think that the Padres, they have the guys that can do that. Their offense has been consistent all year, and that's why I got talked out of the Cubs because guys like Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, they fizzled off like flat soda that you get at the restaurant that you have to go ask for it again because it's not working at the soda machine. Those guys completely fell off, and I can't trust them in a 3-game series where you need consistency. So I'm going with San Diego on the road to advance, and no more singing "Go Cubs Go" this year for the postseason because the Padres are on to the next round, and that's Cubs are going to be going back to their couch after the series because I got the Padres here. But cool to have playoff baseball back in Chicago. I'm sure they're going to be happy about that. It's just terrible weather up there. Hopefully the weather is good for the Padres because they're used to that 75-degree and sunny weather.
Yeah, they'll be interesting to see what the weather's like. It shouldn't be too crazy. I mean, we're not in deep October yet, so I don't think it'll be anything terrible.
Yes.
But it's also Chicago, so you never know. One day it's raining and 40 degrees, the next day it's 75 and sunny. So,
wow, the 10-day forecast for Chicago, upper 70s, low 80s for the next week.
So good weather. Okay.
Yeah. The weather's really not going to be a factor. Just depending on where the wind's blowing. The wind's blowing out. You can get some of those cheap basket home runs.
Yeah,
that they like to get out there.
So you were dead set, spot on about the Cubs, and that's why I don't trust them in this series. And that's all because Kyle Tucker is still kind of hurt. They brought him back for this Cardinal series, and he's having
something's wrong with him, and they're not being really honest with what's going on with Kyle Tucker, which is interesting because he missed a whole lot of time, then just randomly came back for these 3-game set against the Cardinals. So let's talk money though. If you're betting, what are you doing with this series?
Like I said, I'm on the Padres. I'm a little worried about the Cubs offense being actually all there. I do like Michael Busch. He's had a nice hot stretch going on lately. Nico Horner's been pretty good too. But outside of that, like you said, Pete Crow Armstrong, the guy fell off a cliff. I mean, he had a great first half of the season, but second half of the season, he was totally terrible, batting last. He has a high strikeout percentage. There's just not a lot going on for him. Playoffs, anything can happen. You can change it around. But for the way these two teams are going into the playoffs, the Cubs swept the Cardinals, but the Cardinals are absolutely a disaster right now. There's nothing going for them. The Cubs were just trying to get some reps in, and they played well to end the season, at least against the Cardinals. So I don't take too much into that one. I just think looking at it from a full scale, Padres and Cubs, I think they match up pretty evenly on offense, but I'm going to give the edge to the Padres with Tatis, Luis Arraez, great on base guy. And then I like the moves they made at the deadline. Gavin Sheets was a great addition. And the guy from the Orioles, Ryan O'Hearn, great addition as well. So I think the Padres, I think these guys are all going to click. Mike Schilt, I think he's actually a pretty good manager too. So he'll get them into the next round. I think Padres move on with the pitching being a little bit of a question mark for starting, but the bullpen's where it's at. So Padres for me, I think they advance. Currently, the Cubs are the favorite, though, to move on. -125 according to DraftKings for the wild card round.
You're watching the MLB playoff preview show right here, 281-330-8004. That's the number. You can hit us up.
Is that Mike Jones? There it is. Yep.
You know that song?
That was
not really our phone number, but, Mike Jones' phone number.
You know what's funny? I was talking to some of just a quick little break before we move on to the next series. I was talking about that with my friends at work. I said 281-330-8004, and they go, they like forgot about it. I'm like, you guys don't know Mike Jones? And they go, who? I go, now I know who Mike Jones is. And so I go, I wonder if that number still works. So I called it on my phone. Of course, I starred 67 it because I don't want someone blowing me up if someone answered. And it like went. It was like a Verizon wireless. Like they don't answer the phone. Like so that number is just fully blocked. But I looked up some article online and it said Mike Jones' number still works. So, yeah, there's a little funny.
We have other funny stories about that too. A real quick one from Oklahoma State. I was trying to get Mike Jones to come perform at our residence hall because we had a little bit of money for hall government, and we're like, let's spend some money. So I filled out this form online. Like, there's no way this guy's still performing at college campuses. Fill out this form. But I was smart. I didn't put my number. I put my brother's number, and he goes. He messaged me one day with the voicemail from the agent saying, like, do you still want to perform? And I gave him all the money stuff. It's only like $1,000 to come perform in person if he even showed up. But we wanted hotel, airfare, all that stuff. So it was a pretty funny story for back in the day. It was 2014, 2015 at Oklahoma State. So
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, moving on. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You're watching the MLB preview show here for the postseason. And we're going to get to our top picks, but we're kind of,
yeah, we're going to get to more.
Going through each round right now and telling you our favorites so far. Right now, we like Chicago. Excuse me. Padres. We like San Diego, the Padres, and we like Cleveland in that first round.
Yep, Cleveland first round. Love that. And then Padres are my second pick for that one against the Cubs. Now we're going to move to what should be a very intense and crazy matchup here. We've got the Red Sox and the Yankees going back to it in the playoffs. Kenny, I need to look this up because honestly, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm wondering if you know when the last time these two teams faced off in the playoffs. Do you know? I'm about to look it up right now because I honestly don't know off the top of my head.
It would have to be that year that the Red Sox won the World Series, I guess 2013.
Let's see. I'm pulling it up right now. Last time these two teams.
I'm going to guess 2013.
In the playoffs since 1900. So the last time was
ALCS 2013.
Let's see. Come on, tell me when it was. Postseason results against these teams. Back in it was a wild card game. Okay, so back in 2021. So if we don't count that though, Kenny, if we don't count the wild card game, it was 2018 American League Division Series. Red Sox won 3-1 that series. So that was the last time they played a real series against each other outside of the wild card round. But yeah, so
the one thing I do like about this new MLB playoff thing is that you can play somebody within the division because so many times, so many years, you have to wait to possibly meet somebody in the ALCS or the NLCS. So I think MLB's got this one right where you can play somebody that's in your own division in the first round. I think it makes it for more an exciting playoff. And this is as exciting as it gets as the top rivalry in MLB. You can say the Cardinals and the Cubs are a rivalry, the Padres and the Dodgers are a rivalry. This is the top rivalry, and I'm a Cardinals fan in MLB because of this two historic franchises.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it is crazy though, Kenny. So before 2018, which is when they played that American League Division Series, they hadn't played each other since 2004 when the Red Sox came back to win that series 4-3. So
okay, so that was 2004. I was way off. So I was guessing 2013. I know it was one of those times that the Red Sox won, but I wasn't sure which year.
Yeah, no, but it's cool. They're getting back to it. It's it's going to be an epic first round wild card type series in the Bronx. Yeah, they're playing in New York, so that'll be a fun series. I mean, we're going to probably kick it off. I imagine it's going to be Garrett Crochet, who, if it wasn't for Tariq Skubal, he'd be the Cy Young Award winner in Boston, going up against probably Max Fried, I would imagine. So that'll be a great game. I mean, great pitching matchup there. Both teams went out and got pitching in the offseason. Great trade for the Red Sox to bring in Crochet. Great pickup for the Yankees to bring in Max Fried. So honestly, looking at this is tough, especially game one. I mean, what starting pitcher doesn't show up? I don't know. This one's just really tough. These two pitchers are very similar in numbers. I mean, Crochet had the better year overall, but if I had to say, I think I would lean toward the Yankees. I think I just like them a little bit more. I think they have a little bit more firepower to their offense, but no disrespect to the Red Sox. I mean, great season for them. The offense was there. Alex Bregman probably fell off a little bit in the second half of the season. I would have liked to see him do a little bit better, but still, that team, they traded Rafael Devers. How about this, Kenny? This team's traded Devers, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, what is the Red Sox doing? They traded to the Giants. Well, guess who's sitting at home? Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants, and the Boston Red Sox are playing for a wild card series to potentially move on to the American League Division Series. So How about that? Sometimes these front offices know a little bit more than maybe the fans. So I lean to the Yankees right now. I think Judge, just being the presence he is right now, he's like Albert Pujols back in the early 2000s. Having a guy like that in your lineup just can really elevate your team. So I got the Yankees. I think it's going to be close, though. I think we see all 3 games get played. Yankees money line, maybe in game 3. I'm probably going to lay off game 1, but I like the Yankees to advance in the second round.
You said 2 names that just ring a bell to me. Albert Pujols and Aaron Judge in the same sentence. I don't think you can even mention Albert Pujols and Aaron Judge in the same sentence because Albert Pujols totally dominated the playoffs. Aaron Judge has been nowhere near Albert Pujols' numbers in the playoffs. Aaron Judge has been non-existent. Will he show up this year? Will this be his coming out party? Every year, the same kind of question comes up. Is Aaron Judge going to have a breakout year? Is he going to get some numbers this year? Will he show up? You didn't talk about Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's been having a great season as well, and he's one of the guys that the Yankees were able to sign without having to sign Soto. And I thought that was a huge signing for the Yankees in addition to the starting pitching. So I do lean the Yankees, but I do like Boston too because I feel like they have the pitching to put up with the Yankees. And Bello, another guy that's been amazing. He's been their ace over the past few years before they got Crochet. He's had a solid year as well. So the Red Sox, they are very young. They're a very young team to be in this position, going to the Bronx, playing first round. Did we think that the Red Sox would be in this position after the Devers trade? Absolutely not, myself included. I was one of the first guys that said, why are they trading Devers? He's one of the top hitters in MLB. So many different rumors were swirling about if he wanted to play third base or didn't want to play at first base. And they kind of created that team, that cancer. But I didn't think he was a bad guy. But the Red Sox organization felt differently, and now we're in the situation. They're in the playoffs. It seems like they have a lot more momentum. That J.D. Duran guy's figuring things out in the outfield. He's been a very good catalyst for them to lead off things. So I'm going to lean – I said I'm leaning the Yankees, but until Aaron Judge shows up and proves me wrong, I'm going to take the Red Sox right here in this first-round matchup to upset the Yankees in the Bronx in the first round.
Okay, so to put it into perspective, obviously, Kenny, you're not referring to his regular season because his regular season was great. You're referring to his playoff career numbers. So 205 average, just to give a little bit to perspective to Aaron Judge in the playoffs. He's got a career 205 batting average with a 318 on base percentage and a 768 OPS. Not great, especially if I compared him to Albert Pujols in a way. And then looking at his home runs, how many home runs? He's got 16 career home runs in his playoff career. Last season in 2024, he had 3 home runs. And I'll be honest, I do like this Yankees team, but last year they had a very cakewalk of a route to the World Series.
The Guardians, then they're in the World Series against the Dodgers.
Yeah, they had 2 very, very weak teams. The Royals were fine last year. They were a fine team, but they were not going to compete with the Yankees. I just think the Yankees were far and away a better team last year. But the Royals were just never going to give them too much of a threat. And then the Guardians, they had good pitching, but offensively they just couldn't keep up with the firepower of the Yankees and Juan Soto and whatnot. So, the more I look at this, I agree with you, but I'm going to stick with the Yankees here. We're not going to go the same way every way here. I'm going to stick with the Yankees. I think they get the job done at home, but I do see this going 3 games. I think we're going to get a very tight series. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Yankees win 1, Red Sox win 1, and then that game 3. Who knows? It could go either way, but I would lean toward the Yankees doing it and getting the job done. I don't trust Aaron Boone, though. Aaron Boone, terrible decisions last year in the postseason.
I was just going to say that.
That's one of my concerns is trusting Aaron Boone to make the right call in the right situation. Because last year we were sitting at the bar together, Kenny. We were in Dallas, and I go, Nestor Cortez starts running in from the bullpen. And I'm like, why is Nestor Cortez coming in? He hasn't pitched in over a month. And you're bringing them to face Freddie Freeman and the top of this Yankees lineup right now. What are you doing? Or Dodgers lineup in the World Series? Terrible call. Never should have happened. And it screwed them. They lost that first game because they brought in Nestor Cortez, and then now he got shipped off to Milwaukee, and who knows where he's at now. I don't even know. He might be in the Padres.
I think he's sleeping at Turner's house.
We got a comment.
Listeners out there.
Looks like Ken Bulwark commented. Thanks for coming on, Ken Bulwark. Shout out to you for listening to the MLB playoff preview as we break down every game here and every series of the 2025 MLB playoffs.
Nice picture. Is that his profile picture on Facebook that he's busting out right there, or is that his YouTube picture?
I don't know. No idea. We'll have to ask him on another
wedding.
side.
I wonder what wedding that is from that guy.
So you've got the Red Sox. I've got the Yankees advancing on to the wild card round. Now, we didn't even say this at the beginning, guys. We didn't say what would happen here. So if these teams advance, so the Yankees are the 4 seed here, Red Sox are the 5. So if the Yankees win this game or this series, or whoever wins this series is going to play, I believe it's the Toronto Blue Jays. They're the number 1 overall seed. And then the Guardians would play the Guardians of Tigers. So Guardians are the 3 seed. They would advance to play the Mariners. The Mariners are the number 2 seed as of right now. We'll get to the Seattle Mariners. We'll get to a couple of these bye teams as well, but we're just going over the first round matchups really quick here. So we've broken down the first 3. So that was Kenny. You've got
I've got Cleveland, I've got Boston, and I've got San Diego Padres.
Okay. And then I've got the Cubs or the Padres as well. I've got the Guardians, and then I've got the Yankees. So good stuff on those 3.
Let us know who you have down below. Let us know who your favorites are for this 2025 World Series postseason playoff for MLB.
Yep. Let us know in the comments. Let us know if you listen back to this at another time, even if it's not live. You can always comment on this as we post it on my YouTube page. So feel free to comment later on. And then, of course, if you have any questions about something, let us know. We'll be happy to answer that too for you.
And we'll also be in Las Vegas this weekend. So if you're going to be in Las Vegas and you see us out there, come say hello. 2 guys look like this. You'll see us out there having a live show at some point throughout. We'll primarily be at the Westgate Sportsbook. So if you see us out in Las Vegas, come say hello. We'll take pictures. We'll sign autographs whenever you're out there.
We move on to the last game of the wild card series, and that'll be between the Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers. So honestly, I don't think the Cincinnati Reds deserve to be in, and this is why I kind of hate the expanded playoff format that we have. We have these teams, these mediocre teams getting in, and I'm going to say this too, as a Cardinals fan, if we were in this position, I still don't think we would deserve to be in this playoffs. I think playoffs is what we used to have was 4 to 5 teams max.
How many games back did the Cardinals finish from possibly making the playoffs this year? I was pretty close, like less than 5.
Going into the final week, we were like 3.5 out to start the week. So
we were less than 5 games away from potentially making the last spot in the wild card, which is crazy to even think about how bad we were this year.
And that's what I'm saying. Everybody knows that kind of team didn't deserve to be in. And that's why I kind of feel the same way about like the Mets. The Mets didn't deserve to be in, and I'm glad they did not get in. Same thing with the Reds. But it is what it is. That's the playoffs, and that's what we have to go with. So Cincinnati is going to face off against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I really want to take the Reds because I don't like the Dodgers. I really, really do. But I just don't trust their offense enough. I think their offense is very mediocre. Here, Kenny, listen to this stat. This is a great stat. This might be posted on my TikTok page later tonight.
I'm listening.
The Reds are the first team in Major League Baseball history to have no qualifying batter hit 270. So no batter hit over 270. No batter hit 25 home runs. No pitcher won 15 games, and no pitcher got 200 strikeouts in a non-shortened season, and they still made the playoffs. That's just insane.
I would have guessed it was either Detroit or a Cleveland offense.
There you go.
Start seeing those numbers, not Cincinnati. Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I don't trust. I don't trust their offense, and they're going to be going up against 3 really good pitchers in the Dodgers. Now, if it gets to the bullpen here, the Dodgers bullpen is one of the worst in the entire playoffs here. So they'll have that going for them, but I just don't trust their offense here. I think the Dodgers have too much firepower in a 3-game series. I got the Dodgers.
I wonder what the run total is for the Reds for the entire playoffs in this first round. Is it going to be? Are they going to score over or under 5.5 runs in 3 games?
I mean, that's actually a great question, and there's probably some kind of bet out there about it. Because let's say they get shut out the first game where they score 2 runs and then they lose, and then game 2 they could lose and score 2 runs. So you hit the under. So that's a good question. So supposedly it's going to be Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and then if there's a game 3, they're saying Ohtani is going to take game 3. So I don't know. What do you think here? I know you're a Dodger hater. You don't like Ohtani. What do you think about this series with the Reds and the Dodgers?
I mean, the Dodgers should win easily, right? The Dodgers should win. They got Ohtani. I think he's not the MVP this year. If I'm handing out the MVP, if I'm a baseball writer of America, it's going to Kyle Schwarber. Now, there's a lot of Ohtani fans that watch this channel. I'm sorry. Yes, he's a good player. I think you take Ohtani out of the lineup and he misses time, anybody in that Dodgers lineup can replace him. And they're still going to win. They're still going to be in the playoffs. They're still going to be in that first round, playing. They're still going to potentially be playing for the division in the first round bye. But you take Ohtani out of the lineup, you're not really missing much. I can take a 2-week vacation from work. They're not really missing much here. That's the same kind of concept. So for me, Kyle Schwarber, MVP. But going back to the matchup, there's really nothing to talk about here. The Dodgers should cakewalk this. Hopefully no one gets hurt in the first round. That's what you hate to see if you're a fan of any of these teams, but especially if you're playing a team like the Reds where you should just show up and win. But that's why they play the games, because you never know what could happen. I am personally going to stay away from anything with the Reds. Dodgers should easily win.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to add here. I mean, we can get cute and say the Reds have a chance. They do. I think it can happen in 3 games, but I don't see it. I think the Dodgers should roll here. They have the firepower and the experience to get through. I think the Reds will it'll be too much. All right. Well, we went through every wild card round. We gave everybody who we liked on the matchups here. Now we can advance on. Do we want to talk about the potential matchups, or do you want to talk about those teams? I'm good either way, Kenny.
Yeah, let's just keep going. Talk about the other teams and what potential matchups there are in the second round.
So if everything goes the way we expect it to, or would hope for it to, we would have the Guardians advancing on, and the Guardians would face the Mariners. So Seattle Mariners are sitting, as you see those odds at the bottom, the Seattle Mariners currently have the second best odds to win the World Series. They have great pitching. We know about Cal Raleigh, big dumper. Kenny, what do you think here? Do you think Seattle, if they were to play the Guardians or whoever they play, whether it's the Guardians or the Tigers, do you think the Mariners are set to advance to the ALCS and potentially get to the World Series? What do you think about the Mariners?
Yeah, I love the Mariners this year. I feel like this is the first year that they're going to win the World Series. It's been a storybook year, Cinderella year of sort of sorts. You know, a catcher hit 60 home runs, Cal Raleigh. And I think this is the year they get past, you know, whoever they play, whether it's Cleveland or Detroit, first round. Then they have the matchup of Boston and Toronto, like very easy matchup if the Boston can knock out the Yankees in that first three game first round matchup. Excuse me. But I really like Seattle to go all the way this year. I feel like their pitching is great. Brian Wu, I saw, was day-to-day, so hopefully he's doing all right. But they do have George Kirby. They have Luis Castillo. They have 3 guys that can really eat up innings and get you to that bullpen, you know, which you don't really see much in baseball anymore. So getting guys that can go at least 6 or 7 innings to start and then handing it off to the bullpen is what you want to do. So I think Seattle is my pick to win the World Series this year. I'm going to throw it out there right now. So if you've been listening to the first 30 minutes of the show, go make that Seattle futures pick right now.
Wow, Seattle. I've been on Seattle the last like 5 years, and every time. But listen,
both of us have.
I have been.
Yep.
And then the year I go away from them, they do this. They make the playoffs. They're in a great position now to get to the World Series. And I feel like if I go back to them, they're going to let me down again, because that's what Seattle always does. The Seattle Mariners, anytime I have some belief in them, they always seem to let me down. And I don't know if I can go back to them. I think they're a good team. Like you said, for all the reasons, they have good pitching. They're going to have a very comfortable first round series, in my opinion. I think they should be able to take care of Cleveland or Detroit, whoever they play. But the pitching's there, the offense, they made some great improvements at the deadline. I mean, Josh Naylor, we didn't talk about him. Great addition at the deadline. They got Eugenio Suarez from Arizona, the third baseman. He's fallen off, though. He fell off a lot after he got traded. Now, probably a lot of that has to do with the pitcher park in Seattle. It's a very, very friendly pitcher park for pitchers. So I don't know. They still have a loaded lineup, in my opinion. Big dumper, Julio Rodriguez. They have some guys, Jorge Polanco. A lot of guys who should be able to do some damage in the postseason, and really good pitching. So, yeah, it's there for them. If they can't get there this year, I don't know if they ever will. I mean, this is a really, really talented team with some pretty good matchups on their side. So, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. I like the Mariners here, though.
Very favorable matchups, like you said. And like you just mentioned, if they don't get there this year, will they ever get back? Because, like I said, this is the making of a Cinderella kind of year. Everything's kind of fallen into fate. And you're looking at an easy route to the ALCS this year if you can just take care of business at home, which you earned by getting that second seed and winning the division. So what takes us into a transition to the next team, which I can't believe they finished first place in the AL, is the Toronto Blue Jays, who we've been high on in years past as well. But it's another one of those teams that you put the money down on them and they totally blow up, or they totally, let you down. So I can't figure out the Blue Jays. I never can. It's the same way as the Maple Leafs. Any of those Toronto teams up there, I can never figure out. All the hype is there at the beginning of the year. They finished first. I mean, you got to give them credit. They finished first. They won the game they should. They've beat the Yankees out for the division. But can they win in the playoffs is the question.
Yeah, I'm out on the Blue Jays. I know they're the 1 seed. I know everything about what you just said. I'm out though. I just don't trust Toronto. It's another team I have a hard time trusting. Every time I feel like I pick them, the opposite goes. Whether I pick them to win or I pick them to lose, the opposite happens. So maybe it's good for them that I'm saying I don't think they're going to do anything because they'll probably go on now to the World Series. But I really just don't trust this team. I don't trust the pitching. I don't trust the offense to put it all together completely. I mean, they have Vlad Guerrero, great, and Bo Bichette, if he even comes back from his injury. But George Springer's having a great year too. But I think when it comes down to it, pitching, you need pitching in the playoffs. And I'm a little hesitant about their pitching. Jose Barrios, Kevin Gausman, a couple of those guys who they can do okay, but do you really trust them in a big series when it's on the line? I don't know. I don't. So I am going to pick whoever plays the Blue Jays in the second round. Whoever they play, I will be against them. So, yeah, I'm out on the Blue Jays. I know that in the 1 seed, they have home field advantage, but I don't really care about that.
Yep, totally agree. Thanks, everyone, for watching. You're watching the MLB playoff preview show where we're talking about some of the first-round matchups, some of the first-round buys, teams in general, and your favorites down below on the ticker for odds to win the World Series. So let us know by calling in 281-330-8004 to talk about some of your favorite plays this year, or just comment down below, and we'll revisit those as we move on throughout the show. So who are we talking about next? We're going to go back over to the National League, where we have none other than the Philadelphia Phillies, who I just alluded to, is Kyle Schwarber, who had a career year and one of the most consistent guys in MLB this year from April all the way through September. I don't really think this guy took a month off. He never went through a really bad stretch where you're like, is this guy legit? I was very impressed with Kyle Schwarber this year, and I think he should be hands down the NL MVP.
Yeah, he had a heck of a year, man. I mean, 50-something home runs. I don't know off the top of my head, but 50-something home runs. Here's why I like the Phillies, though, this year. Phillies are my pick. I'll just tell you right now, they're my pick to get to the World Series, and I'll let you know who I like to actually win it when we get to that point. But I like the Phillies. Last year, I think they have a sour taste in their mouth. They got the Mets. Man, the Mets were on fire last year at the end of the season. That was just a bad team to run into. The Mets got in. They beat the Brewers, and then they advanced on and beat the Phillies in 4 games, I believe it was. Sour taste in their mouth. This is a really, really good, strong Phillies team, even without Zach Wheeler. So remember, Zach Wheeler will not pitch in the postseason. He's been out for the last month, I believe. He had something with I don't even remember the injury. It was some weird injury that happened. But regardless, they're not going to be with Zach Wheeler. They still have strong pitching. Don't forget, there's Christopher Sanchez. Don't forget Christopher Sanchez, strong, hard-throwing left-hander.
Rangers Luzardo.
Rangers Suarez, Jesus Luzardo. Oh, and did I forget Aaron Nola? The guy is still alive and the guy is still pitching. Yes, Aaron Nola, who feels like he's been pitching in the league for 20 years. Aaron Nola, coming back from his injury, he had a strong start to end the regular season. That was great for them to see that. This is a really good Phillies team, and I love what they did at the deadline and traded for Duran. That guy is a really good closer from the Minnesota Twins. Great boost to the bullpen. They needed something like that, and they finally got somebody who can close games. So I like this Phillies team. I didn't even talk about their offense. Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos. These guys have all been in the big games before, and they'll have home field advantage for that first round series who they play. Most likely will be the Dodgers. That'd be a great series, by the way. I like the Phillies, though. I think this is a loaded team. I just think they get back to the World Series after missing it a few years ago. I think the Phillies are loaded and they're ready to go. That's my pick in the National League, though.
Awesome. Let's keep moving on to the other bye, which is Milwaukee Brewers, who finished first in the National League, first in NL Central. What an amazing year these guys had after getting rid of some of their corner pieces on the lineup with their shortstop. Got rid of him, went over to
Adames.
Yeah, Willie Adames left, went over to the Giants. He was kind of the cornerstone of that lineup, with leadoff guy, trendsetter. You didn't think that they'd have pitching this year. Then all of a sudden, right around July 4th, and right before the All-Star break, they kind of sprung and got hot and kind of just carried that into the second half of the year where they, took advantage of a very weak NL Central. And again, they won the game they should have won, and they earned that number 1 spot. And here they are waiting for the matchup of the Padres and the Cubs. Do the Brewers have a legit chance to win this year with their odds at plus 800 deep pockets? What do you think?
Absolutely. Look, I know I just talked about the Phillies and why I really like them to get back to the World Series this year, but the Brewers deserve a ton of credit. The Brewers are playing in a small market. They've made some really questionable trades that have actually turned out to work in their favor. They traded Josh Hader away. Look at that one. Who cares? They're not missing him at all. Willie Adames, they let him walk. No issues there. I feel like there was another player they got rid of too.
Pitcher to the Yankees. The guy from St. Louis that went to the Yankees. The closer for the Yankees.
Oh, Devin Williams. Yes, good call. Devin Williams too. Yep. So they've made
major guys.
Some major moves, and it's all seemed to work out for them. So what they're doing in their front office, what they're doing, I got to give them a round of applause because it's been really good. They own the National League Central as of late. I hate to say that as a Cardinals fan, but they're just doing things right. They have a good system there. They have good young players. Jackson Churio, Christian Yelich is actually having a great season in Milwaukee. The pitching, like you said, has been phenomenal. Freddie Peralta, heck of a season for him. So the Brewers are not going to go out quietly. Last year, they should have a sour taste in their mouth too. They had that series locked up in the first round against the Mets, and they just completely choked it away. So I think they'll be ready this time around. I am hoping for a Brewers-Phillies National League series. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a good back and forth between the two. But yeah, that's a heck of a team there in Milwaukee. And we forgot this one too. Craig Counsell decided to leave them and go to the Cubs because he thought that was a better situation for them. Well, guess what? Brewers have been a much better team over the Cubs the last 2 seasons since Counsell left them. So another thing that just you would think the Brewers would fall off at some point, and they just haven't. They are a really good team. I believe that they also have a great shot to get to the World Series. That's why they're sitting there at plus 800, 8-1.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens here. I'm selfishly rooting for the Cubs to play the Brewers so the Brewers can beat them at home, but I picked San Diego to advance against Chicago, but this one is really a toss-up, San Diego, Chicago. I'm really rooting and selfishly rooting for the Cubs so the Brewers can spank them and knock them out of the playoffs. So it's going to be a great matchup here in the NL side. I like the Brewers to advance. I like them possibly to beat Philly. I talked about Seattle being my pick to be in the World Series, and I like the Brewers to possibly join them in the World Series to potentially fight for the first ever World Series. Both these teams haven't won a World Series. Am I correct? I know Seattle for sure hasn't.
Correct. Seattle has not.
Does Milwaukee count or no with Atlanta?
Let's see.
I don't think they've won a World Series.
I'm pretty sure you're correct on that. World Series.
Milwaukee, it's San Diego, it's Seattle.
Seattle, Tampa, Colorado, Milwaukee, and San Diego.
Colorado.
Yep.
So those 5 teams have yet to win a World Series. Let me say that again. Milwaukee, Seattle, San Diego, Tampa Bay, and Colorado have yet to win a World Series in MLB. There's 25 teams that have won a World Series for their respective franchises. We're not counting the Sacramento Athletics as a franchise right now until they move to Las Vegas, but the Athletics do have won a World Series, believe it or not, back before the 80s, but it still counts. But yeah, let's get into our World Series picks. I just talked about mine really quick. I'm going to reiterate it one more time. I have Seattle making it and playing Milwaukee, and I have Seattle winning it all. Let me know about yours.
Okay, I like that. Well, I'm going to have the Philadelphia Phillies getting back to the World Series. I just think they have that firepower, good offense, good pitching, good all around. And I'm going to have them going up. I don't like to say this because I really don't like them, but I think the Yankees get back there this year. I think the Yankees get back. I think Phillies, Yankees, we're going to get a rematch from 2009 World Series, I believe, off the top of my head. You know how I am about World Series matchups. I remember all of them. 2009, when the Yankees beat the Phillies, and that's when they had like CC Sabathia and all those guys. So, and that was a loaded Phillies team. Cliff Lee, Roy Halladay, Cole Hamels, Roy Oswalt. Should I keep going? I mean, so I think the Yankees do not win again, though. They get back there, but the Phillies, I think the Phillies are holding it up this year and win the World Series. I think they just have a lot of firepower, and I love that pitching staff. Even without Zach Wheeler, I think that pitching's been super strong all season, and I think they get back there and raise it up.
So you're going big market. I'm going small market. Deep Pockets right here is going franchise. I'm going support small business with Seattle and Milwaukee because both these teams, barely have a payroll. Speaking of payroll, the Mets were just eliminated today one of the highest payrolls ever in baseball, and don't even get into the playoffs with the extended 6-team playoff.
How
What
about
are your
that?
thoughts on that really quick before we jump into our final conclusions?
Man, well, here's what I'll tell you. I bet you who loves that, Yankees fans. I mean, the guy left the Yankees after last year making the World Series. I'm sure they threw a crazy amount of money at him, just like the Mets did. And he decided to go to the Mets. He thought it was a better situation, blah, 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 whatever the reasons were. And look who's sitting at home. Juan Soto, the generational talent, and the New York Mets are all sitting at home doing nothing while the Yankees are sitting in the playoffs. So I bet you the Yankees are very happy about that. What do I think? I think it's crazy. I think for all the money the Mets threw out this year and what they have thrown out over the years, I think it's crazy, but I'm not entirely surprised just because I didn't think their pitching was good. Coming into the season, I thought their pitching was very overrated. Sean Manaea, they were going in with Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes never started the last 5 years. He was a reliever for the Yankees. What did they think? Clay Holmes was going to pitch 180 innings and be totally fine? No, the guy was going to eventually get tired and not be good enough.
They're better off keeping guys like Jose Quintana around. That guy is lights out.
They threw themselves over with their rotation. They didn't build enough rotation. They should have went out and at least signed somebody or built somebody up. Something outside of Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes was fine, but I don't know what they were expecting him to be like the number 2 or 3 starter. The Mets, absolutely disastrous to not make the playoffs. They have Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto, and you still can't figure it out to be with an expanded playoff. You couldn't even be better than the Cincinnati Reds. So
I think they were hoping guys like Senga were going to be a little bit better than what they were. Senga had a couple great stretches throughout the course of the year, but he wasn't really never consistent. And then Tyler McGill, he kind of got hurt as well in the middle of the year and just never rebounded when he came back. So I think they were expecting guys like that to have career years that didn't materialize. And a big part of the Mets' inability to have success was Francisco Alvarez, the catcher. He had a great spring training. He got hurt right before spring training with his wrist, broke his wrist, or whatever he did with his wrist. Rehab, came back. He's always been a guy that's been battling injuries. He's always hurt out there, but he's always hurt. And you need consistency when it's coming to a lineup, everyday lineup. You want the same lineup out there every day, unless you're giving guys a rest on, when you're playing the Rockies and stuff like that on a travel day.
Listen, Kenny, not to get too deep in the Mets, but this is, like I said, this is their problem in the pitching. This is their pitching staff this year. Ready? David Peterson led the team in innings pitched, 168 2/3. David Peterson, that guy fell off a cliff at the end of the season. We all saw how tired he was getting. Some of these guys just can't sustain a full season. So David Peterson fell off. He was the number 1 leader in innings pitched. Then Clay Holmes, perfect. I just said it. Clay Holmes just was not the guy. He's made 31 starts. I didn't see it with him. Kodai Senga, like you said, then Griffin Canning was their 4th guy in innings pitched. Tyler McGill, disastrous of a season for them. The pitching was not there. The rotation sucked.
I completely forgot about Griffin Canning too. They signed him. He started off the year pretty good. I think he was 6-0 to start the year before he got hurt.
Ooh, we got Nathan in here. Nathan said, "Did you talk to Padres already?" Just jumping on. Yeah, we did. You want to give him a quick little summary on the Padres?
Yeah, what's up, Nathan? Good to see you on here. Thanks for watching tonight. Hope you're doing well. Looks like you're out there on the boat. Good profile picture. We always like to shout to people the profile pictures out there. But yeah, we like the Padres in the first round at Chicago. I think San Diego made some great signings by bolstering their bullpen. And when it comes to the playoffs, you want to get your starter at least through 5, maybe 6, and then bring your closer in or bring your setup guy in way earlier in the 6th or 7th to try to get you to the 8th and 9th inning. So it's MLB playoffs, completely different animal. When it comes to the usage of the closer, they could be pitching, almost 2 innings at some points. But it's always about finding that right spot where the momentum needs to be stopped right away. And I think the Padres really did that well with their bullpen and bolstering their bullpen. Yeah. Shout out to RJ. What's up, RJ?
RJ, what's up, RJ? I also do like the Padres. A lot of reasons why I like the Padres was what Kenny said. I like the bullpen a lot. I do think their offense, I know you said you worry about their offense. I actually am okay with their offense. And a lot of that has to do with, I think the Cubs pitching is kind of overrated too. Like Imanaga, I'm a little worried about Imanaga in a playoff series. I don't think he's more of a pitch to contact guy. He's not like a high strikeout percentage guy. And then behind him, Jamison Taillon would be their number 2 or Cade Horton. It's a pretty weak offense or pretty weak rotation, and I don't really trust their bullpen either. I think their bullpen has some
pitching reminds me exactly of what we just talked about the Mets pitching. Their starting pitching. They have these guys, these kind of journey guys like Jamison Taillon, Imanaga. They're not Italian's been a swing and miss guy, but can't do that in the playoffs. And Imanga, I don't know how to say his name. Imanaga. I'm not drunk. Just had this water. It's not vodka. Imanaga is a guy that's just kind of pitches to contact. He's not getting 10 Ks a game. Maybe when he first came up, he was getting adjusted to MLB, but I think people have figured it out. You have laptops and tablets and every other damn thing in the dugout now where they can look at everything that they're throwing. So,
Kenny, I forgot to mention about the Cubs rotation. So Matt Boyd, I forgot about him. I didn't give. Yeah. I definitely will say great season for Matt Boyd. He had amazing season, but this is like the most innings he's pitched in a season and I think ever. I don't think he's ever pitched this much. He's guy's always hurt. Never really pitched a full season in the majors.
Nathan in Little League pitching 30 innings.
But he's finally done it, and that kind of concerns me. If you look at his September numbers, he was falling off. He was getting hit hard. Faced the Cardinals on Friday, so take that with a grain of salt. He actually pitched well, but that was a pretty weak lineup he faced. But Boyd's been falling off, man, and that's another big concern for me with the Cubs is Matthew Boyd. If it was him mid-season or even earlier when he was doing really well, I would feel a little bit different about the Cubs. But I think his innings pitched has piled up, and that gives me a big concern with this Cubs rotation and their pitching. So I think that's a huge advantage for the Padres, though.
Yep. Padres 1,400 plus odds to win the World Series. So not the greatest odds out there. Reds are the worst odds at 3,500. So at least you're not a Cincinnati fan, Nathan.
Nathan usually does the fade his team, and then it's like a win-win situation for him. So I
love that. That's a great strategy.
You'll have to tell us, Nathan, if you bet on the Cubs to win the wild card series. That way, it's like a win-win for you. So if the Cubs win, then of course you win money. But if the Padres win, then you advance to the second round, and you just lost however much you bet on them. So I think that's a cool thing. I always remember you did that, and you do that with your team. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, miss seeing him on there on the show. That's when we first met on TikTok, Twitter, or X, whatever you call it.
And he responded. He said, "Of course, that's what I'm doing." That's awesome. Yeah, back on Twitter, when we were doing spaces, he would always be on there. And you thought him and Kobe knew each other.
I didn't know. I mean, it's cool how you can build a community online with people based on some of the common interests that you have. There's so many different things that I've built communities with online. And it's just fun to have people that are like-minded and have, fun interest out there that you guys can just talk to and hopefully win money, with sports betting. But, always gamble responsibly. We're not trying to come out here and, drop your mortgage or your rent for each month. So just make sure you're doing it responsibly. And this is all just for fun, just to see what the numbers are.
Yeah. Like you said, trying to buy his team a championship. I'm with you. Try to buy your team a championship, and maybe this year it'll happen. I think the Padres, if they win, they'll play the Brewers. So you never know. A lot of success has happened from these wildcard teams. When they win the wildcard round, a lot of them usually advance on to the next round and then win that round because they just were kind of playing. They had that momentum. And then the other team was sitting for 5 days, which is, in a way, it kind of hurts. You want that.
It's a little disadvantage because you didn't used to sit like that before. It used to be just 4 teams make it. The 1 seed plays the wild card. The 2 and 3 seed play each other. Yep. Now it's just completely different where the 1 and 2 seed are sitting. It's beneficial if you have injuries in your team, or it's beneficial if you have a little bit, some guys that are banged up. But for this time of year, like you said, if you take a day off, it does mess up your swing a little bit if you aren't, batting practice every day.
I mean, baseball is all about momentum and timing and all that, and so that sometimes can throw you off. Which it's weird because you would think the rest, especially for pitching, would help, but I guess sometimes it doesn't work that way. So and the National League and American League Division Series will start on Saturday. So once these 3-game wildcards happen, they play 3 straight days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Of course, if there's a game 3 or not, and then Friday everyone's off, and then Saturday they will pick back up. So Saturday, Sunday will kick us off with National League and American League Division Series. So a lot of fun action to be coming out.
281-330-8004. That's the number you can hit us on if you're listening to this MLB preview World Series pick'em show. So we're actually going to be in Las Vegas this weekend. We can't wait. We're going to be there this weekend, breaking down some of the games, taking some of the action in the division series. It's the equinox time of the year where all sports are going to be going. Preseason hockey, preseason NBA, I think, is going to be started by the time we're out there. But last year, if you didn't see the TikTok already, last year Deep Pockets won an Equinox parlay where he had the Cleveland Cavaliers over the New York Knicks. He had the total of the Steelers and Giants.
Yep,
You had the Los Angeles Dodgers against the Yankees money line.
Yep.
What's the one I'm missing?
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey. Totally random pick. Had no knowledge about it at all. Just threw it out there.
They killed them.
Yeah, they won like 6-2 or something. Yeah, that was crazy.
Dude, imagine if I would have picked the total as well. I would have hit it too.
Yeah, I don't know what you were doing taking the Giants. Taking the Giants is
let's tell everybody that game though we had.
Betting 101 not do, man.
I know. Well, listen to the game I had. Remember, it was the Sharks and the Kings or something.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was like 5-1, and the Sharks came back and like the Sharks were like terrible last year.
Yeah.
The Sharks came back and won like 6-5 or something crazy.
That was nuts.
I had the puck line 1.5, but I took it on a separate bet, and I won that bet too.
That was crazy. I do remember that. Yep. Yeah, the Shark. Imagine if that was what you would, because if that
was in the game, I was still playing.
Wow. We probably wouldn't have been welcome back there anymore.
That's why you never take your ticket and shred it until it's actually over, because they were down like 5-0. They came back and won, and actually won a bet off that one. But crazy.
Ken says division series 7 games. No, division series is 5 games. So
5 games.
Every series, it's weird. So the first round's 3. The division series will be 5 games, and then the championship series and the World Series will be 7 games. So that's what we'll get.
Hold all tickets, says RJ. Wait, that's cool. These comments coming like that. Do you put them up here, or are they coming in?
Yeah. So on my platform here, StreamYard, it shows like who's commenting, and then you just click show, so I can show all the comments. It's pretty cool.
Really cool. Thanks everyone for commenting. Thanks for watching tonight.
RJ said 2-800 gambler. That's awesome.
RJ should be a comedian. The guy is coming all these one-liners he comes up with.
So something I always like to do before the playoffs is pick like a under the radar guy who, so like for example, David Freese. Of course, I'm going to use him as an example. Nobody knew who he was going into the World Series, or really didn't know much about him.
Yeah.
So is there like an under the radar guy who you could see having a big postseason, or a team that's going to go deep in the playoffs that you could see having a big World Series, or anybody, just any name out there that you think is more of an under the radar? Don't think of it as like the Major League Baseball fan like us. Like we know a lot of guys, but just maybe someone wouldn't know.
I really like the guy you talked about with San Diego, Ryan O'Hearn. I think that's a great addition to the deadline. He's going to be playing in Chicago based on where the wind's blowing. He could have a great series over there against the Cubs. He's facing some right-handed pitching, facing Imanaga. I think he can have a good series. I also like, who's the other guy I like? From Milwaukee, Jackson Chirios.
Okay, Jackson Chirios.
He's going to have a great year. He's going to carry the Brewers to as far as they're going to go. So it'll be based on him. So he's going to really need to step up and grow up big right here in this first round action.
Okay, I like that. My guy who I think could have a little bit of under the radar to him in the postseason is the only thing I worry about is I don't know if he's going to get enough playing time. It looks like he's been playing a lot of games down the stretch, and he's been on fire. Edmundo Sosa from the Phillies. How about a little under the radar guy like him?
Wow, yeah, that's very under the radar.
That's more of like an under the radar guy I'm looking at. So
yeah,
he had like 4 home runs in his last 15 games. He had like close to a 300 average. I'm looking more like under the radar like him. But another dude, who another guy I really like, and I didn't like him for us, but I mean Bader's been a great fit for the Phillies.
No, he has.
That's the kind of guy who can do really well in a lineup like that. Like that's where he's going to do better.
They're pitching around their 3-4 hole hitters, and they're getting outs, and they're trying to get to a guy like Bader. Then he kind of comes up in these big situations where he has to put the ball in play. Like that's exactly how David Freese kind of came up as that star back in 2011, because Albert, Lance Berkman were getting pitched around, or they were getting on, but they were getting out throughout the other parts of the lineup, but Freese came up big in all those clutch situations. I think guys like that are bound to have a good season, good playoffs if they can be consistent with the bat.
My other guy for the Yankees, most baseball fans should know who he is, but I think he's still more under the radar. Ben Rice, the lefty in that lineup. He's pretty young. I don't think he's a rookie anymore. I think he's more of like a sophomore type guy. But Ben Rice, be on alert for him. He's a lefty. He hit like 26 home runs this season. Let's see what his final numbers were, because he had a really strong season in the Bronx. He might catch more games for them because Paul Goldschmidt might be used more at first base. But look at this. Ben Rice getting hot at the right time. In his last 15 games, he has 3 home runs. He's hitting 392 with a 754 slugging percentage. Ben Rice, watch out for him this season in the postseason. I think Ben Rice is a strong candidate to wake some people up and say, who's this guy?
Yep.
Ben Rice. That's my guy too from the Yankees.
I like Steven Kwan from Cleveland. I think he's been a trendsetter, top of the lineup kind of guy that people still don't know about, but he's really that guy that is the spark for the Cleveland lineup. And if he has a good postseason, he'll kind of be like the guy from the Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll, was those past years, speedy guy, gets on base, plays great defense, all that kind of stuff.
Owen, nice comment from Owen. I'm a Reds fan. I'm so happy to watch October baseball, even if we get swept. Hey, your team made the postseason. There's nothing more like watching your team in the playoffs. Like, I love playoff baseball. I'm a Cardinals fan. And when we make the playoffs, it just elevates it so much more. Like, I think we're going to win the series when they come in and play anybody. So you should have that same, mindset. Like, playoff baseball with your team in it is so much better.
I mean, the Reds can do it. I mean, Los Angeles won last year. I think they just want to go home and relax this year. They want to play another grueling month of baseball, or they want to go home and relax and go on vacation. I think sometimes like that gets in people's heads. And when they're playing a team like the Reds, they're hungry. They haven't been there in a while. They're excited to be in the playoffs, like Owen's mentioning right here. That's where you can kind of get – if you just go through the motions, that's where you can get upset right here against a team like the Cincinnati Reds. Like the Reds are a good team. They made the playoffs.
Yep.
They got a decent lineup. They got guys that can hit. They got guys that can run bases. And they have that guy that came back from the injury, that stud.
Chase Burns,
who can strike guys out. And you want guys that can have some stuff that's swing and miss stuff. And Chase Burns is that guy that, for me, that we're not really talking about as well. So we talk about some hitters. We haven't talked about pitchers that can kind of emerge this postseason. And Chase Burns is a sneaky good player, as Owen just said. Took the words right out of my mouth, Owen. Thank you for commenting that. Is that you commenting on this?
No, I think he meant that about Andujar. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, but yeah, this is a sneaky pitcher right here that can come in and be one of those stud pitchers that kind of emerges an ace going into the next year, kind of like Flaherty did when he was with the Cardinals, kind of like Wainwright did when he was with the Cardinals that year. This is going to be a guy that either comes in and closes games in the playoffs and just has a solid year.
Yeah,
he's postseason.
Yeah, Andrew Abbott had a really strong season too. Left-handed pitcher for them. Yeah, the Reds rotation is really strong. Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Lodolo, if he's not hurt. I know that guy always has injury problems too. So, yeah, I mean, just having your team in the postseason just makes it so much more fun. I mean, even if you think your team's not going to do well in it, it's still just that seeing them in it and having a chance. As the Packers just hit one down the middle, 53-yarder, and tie the Cowboys to go to overtime. Wow. Just saw that as I was looking over here. But
that's crazy.
So yeah, we've got 6 people live viewing right now. Wow. We're going through the Major League Baseball wild card rounds. We just went through all the games that we like. As we get along into the postseason, we'll do hopefully some overnight picks where we will talk about like the next game. Like for the next day, if we like a matchup like game 2 or game 3 of a series. I usually like to pick my spots in the postseason. I don't bet every single game, but I had a really strong we had a strong postseason last year when we were just picking our spots. Like we weren't betting every single game. We were just trying to kind of go off the number, trying to go off of kind of the situation and what was going on, ride the hot team or fade the team at that point. Like last year we were in Vegas. We took the Dodgers in game 3. They were up 2-0. And a lot of people were saying, no way the Yankees go down 3-0 at home, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the Dodgers are just playing really well right now. The offense is clicking. So it's a lot of that stuff, just kind of trying to pick your spots and finding the right matchups.
Yeah, we didn't like the Yankees last year because of its inability to have pitching. I think they bolstered that well this year with, making the adjustment they needed to make. So going back to your picks, you want to kind of talk about your picks again really quick before we can log off?
Yep, we're going to close it out here in just a minute. Not too much longer.
I want to watch the end of this game.
Yep. So we'll start with the American League. So I've got the Guardians in round 1. I like them over the Tigers. Just love the way they're playing right now. I'm going to ride the hot momentum they have. I also like the Yankees over the Red Sox. I think it's going to go 3 games. It'll be a tough, close series, but I think the Yankees will pull it off close fashion. And then on the National League side, I like the Dodgers, of course, over the Reds. Though I am rooting for the Reds, I hope the Reds can knock them off. And then I've got the Padres over the Cubs, mostly because of their bullpen, and we know we see bullpen games in the playoffs. Padres far and away have the better bullpen here. So Padres in my National League wild card round to close that off. What are your 4 picks for the National League and American League wild cards?
So I'm going to start with the National League. I'm going to go with the Dodgers over the Reds. Sorry, Owen, but just, thinking here. I might change my pick, actually. I don't know. Owen's on here making me think of something else. I'm actually going to go with an upset in the first round here. I'm going with the Reds to upset the Dodgers in the first round because Owen's on here showing support to the channel. So shout out to Owen. Make sure you hit that follow button, Owen, because I'm taking the Reds. I'm rooting for the Reds. I'm going to buy a T-shirt tomorrow on Amazon because I hate the Dodgers. I'm not a Dodger fan. I love these small market teams that make the playoffs and they can do something. So I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I'm rooting for the Reds. Excuse me. Reds, Phillies. I'm taking the Phillies. That's where I returned my Amazon shirt that I bought from the Reds and sent it back. And I think the Phillies will go to the NLCS. Then we have the Padres and the Cubs. We already talked about this one. This is a coin flip as well. NL is a big coin flip right now. But I'm going to take the Padres because of our friend Nate out there in San Diego as well. And I think they get too much of the bullpen. Padres, Brewers. I think the Brewers advance to go to the Phillies. Brewers go to the National League Championship Series, and they beat the Phillies, go to the World Series. So I think the Brewers are in the World Series, and they're going to play Seattle. I'm going to talk through the other rounds, but Seattle versus Milwaukee. This is going to be a battle for the first ever World Series title between these two cities. And I'm going to take Seattle to get the win because they've had a great year. They have great pitching, and they have a lineup that's serviceable. And I like their path to the playoff, to the World Series. They play Detroit or Cleveland. I'm thinking they're going to play Cleveland. So I think Seattle beats Cleveland. Then Boston and New York. Great epic first-round matchup here in the wild card. I think Boston upsets New York. Then I think Toronto beats Boston and gets to the ALCS, and I think Seattle wins. So Seattle, Milwaukee in the World Series for me, and I'm taking Seattle to win it. Kyle Raleigh, World Series MVP. And we'll see. No TV ratings for that series. That's all right. We'll have maybe just as many as that are watching us right now here on YouTube. So if we have 6 people watching the World Series, I think that'll be a win.
Yeah. No, here's what I'll say though. I will gladly root for those teams that you have. I mean, I want to see teams who haven't been there before, but I will go with what I truly think will happen. And I probably will be wrong because I'm not right about everything, but I do like the Phillies to get back this year. I really like the Phillies. As I've said on here, I think they just have a loaded rotation, loaded pitching. And I think the bullpen help from getting Duran from Minnesota was a huge, huge addition at the deadline. So I will be on the Phillies to get to the World Series playing the Yankees. I hate to say that because I'm not a Yankees fan. I don't think the Yankees are fun to watch because I just don't enjoy watching. I don't enjoy rooting for them. But I do think the Phillies knock off the Yankees in the World Series. I'm going to say Phillies in 6. And I think a big part of that is because of Kyle Schwarber. I think Kyle Schwarber has a big, big postseason, and the Phillies team, a lot of issues last year with losing to the Mets. I think they have some sour taste in their mouth. I think they get back to the playoffs, back to the World Series and take care of that and hold the trophy up.
Yeah, let us know who you guys like down below before we end the show. Let us know down in the chat who your team. Who you think will make it, whether it's your team or not your team, but let us know who you think is the best team this year in MLB to win the 2025 World Series championship down below. And thanks again for staying up late with us and watching this live show here. I'm not sure what time it is here on the East Coast in New York. It's 11:48, then 10:48 down there in the Midwest in St. Louis. So thanks everyone for staying up late with us. Any final thoughts?
Milwaukee versus the Yankees. Milwaukee first championship, Ken says. Great prediction. I love it. Hopefully Milwaukee can do that. I wouldn't mind them winning. Reds are making it. We are making a huge run, says Owen. Owen, thanks for coming on and thanks for subscribing to us. We're going to try to be on here all throughout the postseason. We're going to try to give out picks, predictions, and just do some talk shows like this. Like we don't do this to try to be serious. Like we do this for fun. This is all mostly for fun. Try to have some good times, especially for baseball. We love baseball. We love the atmosphere. And October is the best month for sports, but especially because it's playoff baseball, like nothing better than that. So
let us know who you think's going to win the World Series down below. Let us know that player that's going to have a breakout postseason down below. and be ready for our next live show, which will be this weekend coming from Las Vegas. We're getting paid. They're flying us out there to Las Vegas to have the show. We have 6 watching us right now. Might have 1,000 watching us this weekend when we're in Vegas, but we're going to be in Vegas. Check it out. If you're not following us on TikTok, same name right here on TikTok, NYC_KB, 300K following us on TikTok. We don't know if we're going to go live on there. We will be going live on there from some points, but tune in, watch. It's all about having fun, being part of the community, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, great time. Thanks for everybody for watching the show, and hopefully we can be back on here more the next week. And follow us for more action. Like, subscribe, and enjoy the Major League Baseball playoffs because there is a lot of action to be played. Your team is never out of it until the fat lady sings, as they like to say.
Awesome.
Have a good night and enjoy the playoffs.
Good night, everybody. Play some.